Good afternoon, everybody. Second session in the afternoon. Our first competition at Scottish Powerlifting. It's Bernie McGurk here, the chairman for Scottish Powerlifting. Delighted to be here and commentate on some lifting. I'm joined by Sam Ella, who is the records and rankings registrar. So we'll get kept right today. Any records and stuff that are going down, we'll try and announce them and keep up to date the best we can. I hope you enjoy the lifting and this brand new feature to us with streaming.
Bars loaded.
Bars loaded for the first lift. First lifter will be Keir White.
Bar loaded for Jim Wands.
Sorry, it's not. It's Jim Wands.
150 kilos.
Jim Wands, 150 kilos. Jim's just entered the Masters 2. He competed 2 weeks ago at the British Equipped and won the Masters 2 Equipped ATC Championship. That's an easy lift for Jim.
Beautiful.
Depth looked nice and easy.
Nice
Hopefully
easy opener there for Jim. 3 white lights.
3 white lights.
Alex Rogers up next. Same weight on the bar.
Alex Rogers, the next lifter. Again, 150
Rack height 40.
He's getting a wee bit excited there, run up the platform. The rules are that until the bar...
Just wait till the bar loaded call comes, then you can enter the platform. We're all very excited to be back, to be fair.
Controller today, just due to the amount of numbers.
Bars loaded.
But generally you would have a technical controller waving you in and keeping you right. You'll see the two side spotters have their hands up at this stage. That's to make sure that the lifters have their knees locked out and they're standing upright before they lower their hands. Once the hands are lowered, then the centre referee will give the signal to start the squat.
Nice fast opener, 3 white. Mike
white.
McQuaid up next. 170 kilos going on the bar for Mike.
Your next lifter is Mike McQuaid.
Rack height 16.
170 kilos. Spotters and loaders doing a great job today. You'll see that between every lift that the bar's been sanitised and cleaned before the next lift.
Bars loaded.
Bar's loaded. There's 1 minute since the bar announced is loaded until the lifters come out for his lift. You see that the lifter adjusted his belt on the platform. That's the only piece of kit you're allowed to adjust or put on, if you like, once you're on the platform. Everything else has to be sorted before you come on. That looks good for depth.
Good lift.
And yes, Steve White likes good one.
Next up, Keir White. 182.5 kilos on the bar.
Keir White net,
Rack height 15.
On the bar. Start to see some bigger lifts coming in now.
Here will be followed by Peter Young, Craig Watson, Mark Fulton, and Raymark Jackson.
When's the next comp for you, Sam? When you
Oh Lord, I have no idea. Next year sometime?
Next year?
Yeah. Don't care just now.
Well, hopefully next year.
Bars loaded for Keir.
We could plan a schedule a bit easier. It's just kind of stealing the competition you can at the moment.
There'd been no way I'd been ready for this. It's well done, everybody that has been.
Well, sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet and just be prepared that it's either your time or it's not, and just wait. It's a bit of a struggle on his take out there.
It's a wide walk.
The depth looked good, but it was a bit
That's a good
shaky.
lift.
I think it's quite near his one. I think maybe his takeoff was a bit unsteady.
185.
I think he was
Rack
maybe
height
tightened up on that,
13
especially
for
the
Peter Young.
Aye, so he's asking to drop the rack height, so he's realised that it's a bit high for him.
Yeah, that's what it's been. He's been unsteady taking it out, which is kind of put him off his setup.
Just a reminder for any new lifters, wait for the bar loaded call before you come onto the platform. Bar is loaded.
Bars loaded for Peter Young, 185 kg. It's important when you're setting up, it's particularly on squats, that you're not taking the bar off too close to just above the rack. You clip the rack as you go back, particularly on a heavyweight, you could end up putting yourself off and it affects your whole lift.
Just distracted.
Lift is
Good
good.
lift again.
Craig Watson up next. 205 kilos going on the bar. Rack height 12.
Craig Watson next, another 80 kg lifter, he's lifted 205. First lift today over 200 kilos. I'm always a fan when I'm lifting a squat in particular, is driving the bar off the rack before you even move back. There's nothing worse than taking it off nice and easy and then you feel it heavy before you even started. It kind of
Bars loaded for Craig.
Always think a good tip is to drive it off the rack, wait a second before you step back so you're in total control.
Bernie's masterclass in lifting today on the commentary.
Well, I don't know about masterclass, but I can just tips and stuff that I've picked up over the years that are quite helpful, particularly to new lifters coming in. Strong setup there. Nice and deep. You'll see that he's more a high bar lifter. His torso was
Nice
quite
fast
upright.
opener. 3
It
wide.
means he's getting more dominant in the thigh area as opposed to using his posterior chain.
Mark Fulton
Some
up
lifters,
next. 205 stays
I'll
on
use
the
that
bar.
technique to better
Rack
affect
height
another.
14.
We've just got to find what's suitable for you.
And all of his kit was matching, which is delightful.
Yeah, I didn't really notice the colour coordination.
Bars loaded.
Here's Mark Fulton. Mark Fulton's first competition with IPF, coming over from BDFPA. He's moving into the M1 class at 83 kilos. He should be looking to take some records today. This is our actual attempt at the Scottish M1 record. That's over 40s. So come on, Mark. It's good setup, an easy lift. Depth looks good. And a nice easy lift there. Expect 2 white lights for that.
And that's a good lift.
That's a new Master of One Scottish.
Next up is Raymark. 220 on the bar.
Next lifter is Raymark Jackson.
Rack height 9.
220 kilos. Big lift for that 83 kilo lifter. Bar being cleaned again. Must say everything considering the limitations and sanitising and control and stuff we've run today, I think it's went as smooth as any competition.
Bar loaded.
Having a couple less focus just moved it over quite nicely.
Yeah, definitely. Took a wee bit longer between, we're not allowed so many people in the venue, but generally I think it's went really well. People are just glad to get back on the platform, I think.
Very true.
Typical, I'd say, stature for the old style powerlifter, I would say. A bit shorter and quite broad. That was an easy lift. That
Oh,
was good
beautiful.
today.
Nice easy
Yeah, great
opener.
lift.
3 whites.
Three white lights.
Moving
Well,
into
that's
second
the typical
attempt
shape
now
of a
for
powerlifter.
Group
As years
C.
gone by, it was normally the smaller squat type person that was associated.
So that was
160 on the
Yeah.
bar.
But
In one.
over the years, it
Rack height
changed
13.
completely. People with the body image have kind of stuck themselves in a category.
Jim will be followed by
That's particular
Alex,
sport.
Mike,
But I
and
think
Kier.
these days, if you want to do it, you could do it no matter what your body shape or your structure's like. And that's been proven. You can see so many lifters these days.
Some of the lasses this morning were very tall.
Yeah, but you'd normally not appreciate a taller lifter, but changes in training, diet, form, technique over the years has helped people to overcome the different body shapes.
Bars loaded for Jim.
Here's Jim once again. 160 kilo squat. That looks to be an easy lift for him.
Lift is good.
Good lift. Again, M2.
160 stays on the bar now. Rack height 14 for Alex Rogers.
Next lifter's Alex Rogers. He's lifting 160 kilos. Still 82 kilo class.
Bars loaded.
Alex was weighted this time. Was a bit excitable running on the platform the last one. His first competition, I believe. I think for first competition for anybody, it's just a case of getting in, learning the commands, learning the procedure, learning from it and enjoying it.
Definitely.
Not worrying about what you're lifting, it's just getting there and getting a feel for it and making yourself excited to come back next time. You'll see that we'll get he's got two red lights.
That's a no lift, 2 to 1.
A
Little bit high.
There, I don't know if you saw camera had her hand up. And
180 on the bar now. Rack height 16 for Mike McQuaid.
Lifted his hand down. If the centre referee thinks that the person's locked out, he doesn't have to wait on the third judge to put the hand down.
Okay.
She could say go. Somebody just kicked them in. She could say start if one of the side refs has put their hand down and she's happy.
Because she's centering in control. Yeah.
But it just means that the person that's got their hand up, they're probably red light, so they're starting with one red light against.
Yeah.
But it's not fair on the lifter to stand for maybe 20 seconds to wait on the third referee putting their hand down. The centre ref should either think they re-rack it
Yeah.
or just go.
Yeah.
2 to 1 majority is all that's needed for a start command.
Okay.
Bars loaded.
It's the same with things for new comps. It's about learning it, making sure you know what's going on.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the beauty of having the commentary on here as well. It's just a case of passing out some bits of information that people might not know. So if they're waiting on their first competition, they're certainly getting a wee bit of information that will help them. We've got Mike McQuaid here lifting 180 kilos. Nah, bit too heavy for Mike.
Good catch from the bars there.
I think the way it looked a bit hard for him. I think it went down a bit
192.5 now. Rack height
Again, he got himself
14 for
stuck,
Keir
rather
White.
using the momentum to come up.
It was
think that-
definitely depth though.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a lift that I would expect him to get at some point. We've got Keir White now at 192.5 kilos.
Bars loaded.
And that's bar loaded. His bar position is quite high. I wouldn't class it as high bar, but it's kind of the higher of the norm. Again, somebody having a bit of trouble working their knees before we start.
I quite like
Lift
watching
is
how they
good.
wear their
3
belt in different
whites.
places as well. Every lifting seems to have a different preference.
200 kilos now on
where
the
they
bar.
wear it.
Rack
Yeah,
height
that's right.
13 for Peter Young.
You can see that the pressure that's
Here
on
we go
there
by
not
Craig,
lifting
Mark
his knees
and
out, he was
Raymar.
standing with the arm on his back for a longer period than he needed to. And all it made because you lift harder after that. So it's important to get yourself set as quickly as you can. The quicker you're set, the quicker you get that start come on.
And that's why people practice their setup every time they do a lift.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
Bars
important
loaded.
to do that. It's Peter Young now, 200 kilos on the bar. 200 kilos is no mean feat for any weight class. Nice, stronger walkout. And that was an easy lift. Plenty more than the time.
Easy 3 white lights.
Plenty more than the time.
215 kilos now. Rack height 12 for Craig Watson.
Big Watson next. 215 kilos. We had everybody in the first round getting their opening lift, so there's no fear anybody bottom end.
Bars loaded.
Bit psyching up going on there. Just again for anybody watching, you see he's got a hairband on. You're not allowed a hat as such. You're not allowed a cap, baseball cap, or anything like that, but you are allowed that. Good for depth again, no problem.
3 white lights.
And then easy lift.
217.5. Rack height 14 for Mark
I
Fulton.
don't know the exact rule on that, but I just know that you're not allowed caps or hats to lift. I don't know why that is, to be honest.
Is Joanna doing her expert rack height change?
That's a-
Throwing everything into it.
Yeah, I suppose if you were allowed hats, you could come with all weird and wonderful different hats, top hats and bowler hats and stuff. So maybe
Bars
that's-
loaded for Mark.
you know what the IPF's like for their technical stuff. Right, here's Mark Fulton again. First lift was a Scottish Masters 1 record. So he's increased that to 217.5 kilos. So this will be another record. Mark was unfortunate that he wanted to compete at the British Masters Classic. Having not done a IPF comp before, he was unable to get a qualifying total, which was a bit unfortunate due to the last year and a half. That was the line. Good one.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was nice. And did expect
3 white lights. Good lift.
But I think next year,
230 kilos
hopefully
now.
feature-
Rack height
feature
9
maybe
for
in that
Raymar.
14 for Great Britain at some of the IPF European World Championship.
Oh yeah.
We've certainly got a big cadre Masters lifters that are competing internationally at the moment for Scotland. We've certainly put Scotland on the map over the last few years.
British Masters is coming up soon, isn't it? I was wondering this will be too close for him to use this.
Yeah,
to then.
it was too close because the entries had to be in a few weeks ago, but the Masters Classic is on 2 weeks
Bar loaded.
today.
Correct.
2 weeks yesterday and today in Northampton, which I'll be competing at myself. Mark Jackson, 230 kilos. His first lift was solid, really strong. He looks a good technical lifter. I'd expect this to be comfortable. A 10 kilo increase from the last one. Breath in, keep the air in the stomach to push through the belt. Depth was a wee bit tight, but hopefully it'll get it in.
That's a good lift, 2 to 1.
So one side ref decided that he wasn't deep enough there.
Going into third squats for the group. 165 on the bar. Rack height 14 for Alex Rogers. Alex will be followed by Jim, Mike, and Keir.
It's the second round completed, so the third round of the first group. Alex Rogers on his third lift, 170 kilos.
Bars loaded for... No, it's not, sorry. Catherine, you may have words. You may have words.
60 kilos, but he's increased this one to 170. So
Bars
bold
loaded.
move to increase his hip lift after failing the footing. But I think the last failure was more on a technical issue with the knees rather than a strength issue. So he may feel that
Feels he has it.
he's got this in the tank, but you've got to be careful sometimes in chasing lifts, particularly when you failed one, because you could end up just on your first one. Sometimes it's a time just to bite the bullet and take your second one again. But do that quite easily. I don't know if he moved there, but I think he's in.
Lift is good.
Good lift. So he made the right decision in the end,
170 on the bar
always,
now for Jim
the
Bonds. Right,
decision to
13.
chase your tail and move on to a third if you failed your setting for a higher number. But I'm glad he made me eat my words and he got it.
He's probably quite glad too.
Bars loaded.
Jim once again. He's now attempting 170 kilos. Just for your information, the Scottish record for M2's 83 is 195 kilos, which is held by Willie Lincoln. That was a good lift. That record the Willies has been sitting for 10 years.
3 white lights.
And Jim's got that quite comfortable. I think he's got a bit more of the tank.
180 kilos on the bar for Mike
towards that
McQuaid.
195
Rack height
in the next year or so.
16.
Yeah, they've got Mike McQuaid lifting now on 180 kilos. He failed his second attempt at 180, currently sitting on 170 as his opener. So hopefully Mike could take this away.
If I remember correctly, the second attempt was the knee.
Yeah, oh, that's right. So it's important that you get yourself set up really quickly.
Let's go, Mike. Bars loaded.
I think his initial setup and unwrapping the bars been quite shaky to start with, so it's maybe something that he needs to work on. It still looks a wee bit higher, that, to be honest. Still got much clearance on it. It's a bit unwrap.
Much quicker.
Looks good, I think he's in there.
Lift is good. 2 to 1.
2-1, makes that lift. Well done, good fight through.
200 kilos now on the bar. Rack height 14 for Keir White. Keir will be followed by Peter, Craig, and Mark.
You're right. Now 200 kilos.
Definitely a point at which in that one that you could have decided, oh, I'm not pushing any further. But you went, no, we're going to try.
Yep, exactly. I think when you're out there, when you're lifting a squat, particularly when it does get hard in that sticky point in the middle, I don't think it's in your blood for any lifter that I've seen to kind of give
Bars loaded for
in theory, you
Keir.
might not do it, but when you're there,
200
platform,
kilos.
someone takes over. I think that makes you push through. I don't mind if I die. I just want to lift this. Keir White, now 200 kilos, 192.5 we've done in his setting. So again, this big round 200 mark is a great lift for anybody to achieve. I remember there was a time, I'd say roughly 10 years ago, where I remember when 200 kilos was lifted by an 83 lifter in a Scottish Championship for the first time.
Oh.
And it's almost like every other lifter's lifting it now. So the improvements and advancements over the last 10 years have been massive. That's just a bit too heavy for him.
Well caught by the spotters. Not there today,
He looked
unfortunately.
heavy on the way out. When you're
205.
It's basically really loose there. There's a
Rack height
band in the middle.
13 for Peter
You don't have
Young.
to be tight to lift,
205.
but they could hamper you when you go down. You get that binding bit at the back of your legs and stuff. So, wearing knee sleeves might not aid you if they're sitting loose.
Yeah.
They'll just hinder you.
That's always the problem with these different sizes as well. Like you kind of think, oh, I'll go down a size when you kind of get them on.
I don't think, I mean, knee sleeves aren't supposed to be there to assist you like in a quick competition. They're supposed to be there to support your knees,
Yeah.
protect them, and give you a bit of heat and stuff. And I think the misconception is that you need to go as tight as you can to lift.
Let's
it.
go, bar
They may
loaded.
give you a wee bit, but they're not there for that purpose.
As long as they're not hindering.
No, they need to be snug though, or they could just get in the way.
Okay.
Peter Young, 205 kilos. He's made his first 2 lifts. He's second on this 200. So, if I remember correctly, the last one was quite comfortable. So I'd be looking for this to come up quite nice. Very strong. Looks easy.
Very clean.
Lift is good. 3 wide lights. 220 on the bar. Rack height 12 for Craig Watson.
Craig Watson now, 220 kilos. Craig made his second lift at 215, so 5 kilo improvement here.
Let's go, Craig. Bar loaded.
Okay, a wee bit of adrenaline pumping there. He's up for this. Channel that adrenaline and make the lift easier. Very narrow hand placement. And this is what we call a high bar quarter. What's his body how upright it is? Quite comfortable.
Lift is good.
Almost reminds me how Robert
225 on the bar. Rack height 14 for Mark Fulton.
Good to see back on the platform in a couple of weeks at the British Classic. One of Scotland's top lifters over the years. And certainly missed him over the last couple of years competing, and hopefully he'll be back on the international scene soon.
Bars loaded for Mark.
Mark Fulton, good competition so far. 2 good squats and 2 Scottish records. He's going to increase that or attempting to increase that to 225 kilos. This is a 7.5 kilo increase for the last time. I'd expect him to have to work for this, do this now.
Yeah.
Nice controlled setup. No
Very
end up
solid.
wasted there. 1 step back. Good depth. Right for that. Gonna get it, I think. Yes, what?
Beautiful.
Lift is good.
As expected, I knew he was going to have to fight for that, but I think the fact that he's energy saving and unracking,
Yep.
1 step back,
237.5 on the bar.
back after
Rack
the
height
rack.
9.
All you're doing with that is wasting energy. You get the bar on your back for too much longer than you need to, particularly for a final lift.
We're back down for Raymark now, and this will be our final spot in this
Yep,
flight.
last photo of this flight, and it's Raymark Jackson,
Bars loaded.
237.5 kilos. Come on, Raymark.
Same as last time.
I'm lacking a bit of crowd clapping and cheering.
Yeah, they are
No,
there.
nobody in the hall, but the rest of the lifters and everybody that here is giving them a good cheer.
This fella's
Big breath in.
Go!
He's got through it, but I'll be surprised if the centres refs give him that.
Oh, 2 to 1, no lift.
So there's 2 reds and 1 white. As we
Death.
thought, that looked
Called
like
on death
for me
there.
It's easy to say, don't cut your squat when it gets heavy. But it's how it feels when you've got on your back. But You've got to give yourself a chance
That
sometimes and
concludes.
get yourself to depth and then come back up where you're kind of on
I
a
conclude squat
height
for
to nothing.
Group C. Moving into Group D.
When you are somebody that squats perfectly to depth every time, with a little bit heavier, you'll have that habit maybe of just slightly cutting
Yeah,
each time.
I know.
130 on the bar first up for
Particularly if
Charlie
you pick it up and
Payton.
it
Rack
felt
height is
comfortable and you
50.
think, I could have
Followed
actually went
by
a wee bit
Danny
lower and still
McWilliam,
got this.
Robert Scobie, William Smith, Felix Ruiz, and Lewis Kelly.
That's the first group done of squats. We're moving on to group 2.
130, rack height 15 for Charlie.
So this group 2 moves into the heavier guys. This is ranging from 93 to 120 kilo lifters. I think we only have 5 lifters, am I right here? 6 lifters, sorry. 6 lifters in this group. The first lifter is Charlie Payton. He's 105 kilo body weight and he's attempting to lift 130 kilos. I believe that this is Charlie's first competition. So again,
Bars
first
loaded for
competition,
Charlie.
get the lift in, learn for that and then move on. I think there's too much hilarity there with the referees. They need to get on with their job.
They're having too much fun.
Too
How
much
dare they?
fun, exactly.
Bars loaded for Charlie Payton.
Charlie Payton daydreaming in the background. I think there he's not out yet.
Oh, here we come.
I see somebody running for their stuff. He's just fixing his wrist straps. As I said, you can't fix your wrist straps on the platform.
Just your belt.
It's only your belt. So we've not got a technical control at the moment, but you can see he's getting waved off by the ref until he gets that done.
You have got the full minute, so you've still got plenty of time.
It's not got a minute clock on the screen just now, but I think he would have been in anyway. But you've got your 1 minute where you've been called for bar loaded. And that minute, it's not until you get under the bar, it's until you get the
squat
command.
Yeah.
So he could be standing shaky, and if he just goes under a setting, you've got to re-rack and fail. Hopefully I'll have composed this enough to get this in. Looks deep enough.
Yeah.
That looks okay.
Lift
Yep.
is good.
Right.
Next up, Danny
A
McWilliam.
bit of anxiety from coming
195
out,
on the
probably
bar,
first of a
rack height
lift, and he's like, what's
17.
happening here? But
Then
he's
followed
got
by
it, so that'll
Robert,
take a bit of pressure off.
William, Felix, and then
With it being if it's
Lewis.
your first competition, we haven't got handlers today. You could be a little bit unsure what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. I think, particularly if it is your first, as you say, you just need that wee bit of advice in your ear, just to keep you right.
The other lifters will have been calling him and saying, "Come on, Charlie."
That's right. Next lifter, it's David McWilliam. He's lifting 195 kilos, and he is in the 105 kilo weight category.
Bars loaded.
Looks an easy enough on that. Nice and deep. Missed the rack, but that doesn't matter. Once you get the rack,
2 white
command,
lights for Danny.
Girls
once-
are gonna help.
once you get-
220 on the bar. Rack height 18 now for Robert Scobie.
This is the problem with the tall lifters and putting the weights on. I'd not be able to get the weight up that high.
Well, I've got the same trouble as well. I need a wee box to stand on. Can't remember the last time I lifted anything above my shoulder. That's not in the powerlifting regime.
No, we don't do that.
No.
It's Katie making sure everybody's disinfected.
That's it.
Bars loaded.
Bars loaded for Robert Scobie. He is 120 kilo category, and he's currently attempting 220 kilos. He's weighed in at a body weight 117.1 kilos. I think he's got about a kilo of beard there as well, I think.
Good solid
Good
workout.
way.
Nice deep squat.
Yeah.
Okay.
240.
that was a good
Rack height
squat,
13
yeah.
for William Smith.
Okay.
Danny McWilliam, we need your second attempt at the table. Soon as you
I might
can.
try and grow the beard, but I'm attempting to cut to 66 kilos for a comp, so The beard might just put me over.
It might make it too heavy. Can't
Exactly.
have that. No. You can cut, and then the last kind of just before you go right there, it's going to
That's
come off.
it.
Just no good.
That's it. I think it's went one way or another during lockdown for people. A lot of people have used it to gain a wee bit of weight and move up categories and stuff and be more comfortable, or some people have used it the opposite way around, just to drop a wee bit and try and manage it until the next competition. The introduction of the two new weight, the two new weight categories. That's one in total.
Bars loaded for women.
Females. It's made a difference. It's just made it a bit more manageable for people to come in at a weight instead of having to drop significantly.
Definitely. More flexibility.
Yeah. We've got William Smith here. He's attempting 240 kilos. This is a big lift. There's a 93 kilo lifter weighed in at 90.8. A wide stance.
Very wide.
Dropped the hips in well.
Yeah.
And he's through. Should be good. And that's 3 wide.
3 weights.
Clearly putting the effort into each squat.
252.5 rack height 13 for Felix Ruiz.
There's a 2.5 kilo plate rolling across the floor. Good job nobody's toes got that.
Quick reminder as well that we'll have a 10-minute break between the end of this group of squats and starting Group C on bench.
We've got Felix Ruiz up next, attempting 252.5 kilos. He's a 93 kilo lifter. He weighed in at 90.3. So this is a good squat. The open 93
Bars loaded
kilo
for
squat record
Felix.
282.5 kilos, and that was Robert
That
Love,
was
who I
Robert,
mentioned
yeah.
earlier. So you can see the quality of the lifter that Robert is as well. That's still standing from 2014. Good setup. Just to lock the knees a wee bit, I think.
There
So
we go.
ready. Big breath in. Trap there in the stomach. And squeeze through the belt. Good lift. Looks good to me. Waiting the judges say. And that's
3 weights, lift is good. 255 rack height 16 for
Drop on
Lewis
that squat
Kelly.
Sorry?
Fast drop on that squat style.
Yeah, it went very quick. It's difficult sometimes for the referees to pick up when it's a fast drop. He looked like he was well in, so I don't think there was an issue, but sometimes it's difficult to tell.
You've only got that split second to see if it's in or not.
Yeah,
don't you?
it's easy looking back. People run up to the referees with a video and say that was in, but it's like any refereeing decision in any sport. It's what you see at the time.
It also depends where you take a video from. You need to be looking at exactly the same route,
Yeah.
like from the side. If you've got it slightly angled, you're maybe not quite seeing what's
It
actually
doesn't, yeah,
happening.
if the camera's no level, if it's tilted slightly.
Yeah.
Bars
it
loaded
doesn't
for
always show
Lewis.
true picture. Right, we've got Lewis Kelly now. He's attempting 255 kilos. He's in the 105 kilo category, weighing at 104.9. So that's judging your weight to absolute perfection there. They said in weigh-in that he had to cut a wee bit over the last few days, so he's delighted to come in. Good luck. Lewis has competed for a couple of years now. He's a strong lifter.
Lift is
I
good.
don't know if you noticed when he was squatting there, is how close his elbows were into his body.
Very
Let's
He
get
made
135
contact
now on the
with his
bar.
body on the
Rack
bottom.
height 15 for
You've got to be
Charlie
careful with that
Payton.
with your lift. If your elbows
Charlie will be followed
rest
by
on your
Danny,
thigh,
Robert and William.
you could actually feel the lift for that.
Yeah.
So they could deem that as helping you fall by pushing from your leg. So
And because of his levers, because it was quite a low bar, everything gets much closer together, doesn't it?
That's
So you
right.
do get really snug
yeah,
when you're in that style.
that's right. I mean, you've got to have the shoulder flexibility in the first place to be able to bring yourself in that narrow, which I can't do. I've no danger. My elbows are hitting the spotters, they're that far out.
Bars loaded for Charlie.
Right, we've got Charlie Payton here now. This is his second lift at 135 kilos. He's in the 105 category. Everybody passed their first lift, so there's nobody in any danger of bombing again, so that's good. Charlie's a bit more hyped up this time. He's kind of like a nervous cat running out the last time, missing his bomb.
Ready this time.
Hopefully we'll see him a wee bit more controlled. That's good. I like to see that when they take it off the bar and just stand composed before you stand back, so that's nice.
Not rushing.
Big breath again. Plenty bit. Coming up. Coming up. I think you'll be getting that.
Very nice.
I think what
Lift is good.
If he came up, he's kind of leaning forward with his body.
205 now for Danny
But when you get to
McWilliam.
that
Rack
sticky
height
position,
17.
You've got to imagine forcing your shoulder blade against the bar, so you're almost
Yep.
pushing the bar in a backwards motion.
You did like you're trying to throw it off.
That then activates your posterior chain all the way up your back to be able to stand up with the bar as well, bringing the most muscles in your body that you can to finish it. I think he was more leg dominant and trying to stand up there. Just
Almost slightly more good morning it then.
yeah.
Clearly not to that extent, but I remember at my first comp I was doing deadlifts and I ended up RDLing it because my ass kept.
Bars loaded for Danny.
It's easy done.
Yeah.
It's just
You
tiny
get too
wee
excited
cues.
and yeah.
Wee cues for each person to help you. Danny McWilliam, 205 kilos. Good. You can feel the second lifts are starting to get a wee bit harder, which they should be.
Lift is good.
Length again.
Still clean.
230 on the bar now. Rack height 18 for Robert. Robert be followed by William, Felix, and then Lewis.
Robert Scobie, second lift at 230 kilos in the 120 kilo category. The loaders are
loaded.
these high rack heights, particularly as the weight goes up. Doing a crack job.
We haven't got particularly tall spotters this session, really.
No,
No.
no, exactly.
Alice is quite tall.
Yeah. Let's activate that beer power again.
Yeah, that was another good squat.
Yeah.
Lift is good.
Well done. Good lift.
250 kilos now. Rack height 13 for William Smith.
Yep. William Smith next. 250 kilos, 93 lifting. I hope everybody's enjoying the stream today. It's our first time that we've, I'd say, invested in
Bars loaded.
to supply a range streaming, and particularly in times when there's no spectators allowed. It gives people a better opportunity to watch and then see what's going on, feel a wee bit a part of it.
Yeah.
And I hope you're maybe enjoying the commentary just a wee bit. William Smith, 250. Wider stance, he's dropped the hips in well. That was easier than the last time.
Did look good.
Lift is good.
What?
267.5. Rack height 13 for Felix Ruiz.
I think when you're a particularly a sumo style squatter where you're wide, it's keeping the knees out through the whole lift. As soon as you start to bring your knees in, particularly as you're coming out the hole, then you find it tricky because the hips aren't able to activate and push through as well.
It'd be more of an effort then to put your knees
Yeah,
back out again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then it brings it back into a different position and makes the lift harder.
Bars loaded for Felix.
Felix Ruiz, 267.5 kilos. He's a 93 kilo lifter, so he's starting to get his lift up towards the area of records, if you like. Still a wee bit off, but It's certainly at the top end of his category. So psyched up and ready. Get those knees locked out. I don't know if he'll get that. He made a movement at the top of the squat where they went down. And
That's a good
got
move.
the list.
He luckily just went down.
Yeah.
Stay away, stays
I
on the
think
bar.
he moved.
Rack
That could have been
15 for
construed. They had
Lewis
two
Kelly.
attempts at in the rules. If you make two attempts at a squat, it's deemed that the lifts failed. He was kind of on the verge of that there because he did move, stopped, and then went again. So I think he's okay. I mean, he didn't bad in the drop and go back up, but it was a kind of close call, if you like. I kind of thought the spotters were grabbing it at one point, so it was good spot on to leave that and allow them to push
Waiting
through.
and waiting. Well, they're not supposed to take it off them unless the
Bar loaded for Lewis.
Unless you could physically see it going down, or the centre
judge,
ref says
yeah.
take it. We've got Lewis Kelly here on 267.5 kilos. This is a 12.5 kilo increase for his first attempt. A nice strong opener. Watch his elbows again, very, very close to his legs. I think he's going to be a wee bit careful of that going to other competitions.
Lift is good, 2 to 1.
It's a good lift though, 2 to 1. Just by the elbows resting on his thighs.
Moving into final squats now.
was maybe almost
145 on the bar for Charlie Payton. 145, rack 15. Charlie will be followed by Danny, Robert, and William.
If it's in the rules, you can't do it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Even if it's not assisting, you still can't, like, you have to follow the rules.
Yeah,
That's why we have it there.
that's right.
Bars loaded for Charlie.
Background's the start, yeah.
Charlie Payton. 30%, 145 kilos. That's a 10 kilo increase from his first one. It's a wee bit a big jump. He went up 5 kilos after his first lift, 135, and then 10 kilos to his last. It's a bit of an increase. You generally go up 10 and then 5, so
I wonder if it's a PB.
maybe he's
Fancy
probably going to
it,
have to work hard for this, I think. I hope he gets it, but I think he's going to be tough. But just a wee bit too heavy. I think maybe the 10 kilo increase was
Kick
just a wee
out to the
bit
bars there,
adventurous.
no lift unfortunately.
I think maybe going up 5 would have been the call
215
there.
now on the
And
bar,
maybe that's the difference
215
between having
rack
a
height
coach
17 for
or a
Danny
handler behind
McWilliams.
there.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to get in his head to say 5 kilos to move up.
Won't be long before he's hitting that weight, though.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
was quite close to it.
So he was very close. Okay, we're moving on. Next lifter is Danny McWilliams. 250.
Bar
kilos.
loaded for
This is a
Danny.
10 kilo jump from his second of 205. He likes his mixed and matching kit with Adidas shoes, his SBD knee sleeves, and his strength shot
Belt
singlet.
yeah.
And maybe he's just got 3 sponsors. But he's not getting it.
Good try.
No lift there
Good try.
unfortunately for
Kenny, the
Danny.
weight pulled him a wee bit forward again there,
Yeah.
so at least maybe a positioning thing more than a
rack
strength
height
thing, because he
18
certainly
for
looked strong
Robert.
enough.
He did just catch it as he was walking out. He did the sensible thing and he re-racked.
Robert will be followed by
Yeah.
William,
Just
Felix,
close you up a wee
and
bit.
Lewis.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a 10-minute break before we start with bench for Group C.
Robert Scobie next, lifting 237.5 kilos. 7.5 kilo increase from his second at 230.
Bars loaded.
4 squats left before we have a small break and then move into bench press. Let's see if we could activate this beard power again. You see that he was told to re-rack and go off the platform. The loops on his wrist straps were over his thumbs, which isn't allowed, and it's needed to be taken off. The reason he was told to go off the platform is you mentioned earlier that you can't adjust stuff.
No lift there, unfortunately.
It's maybe been in his head that he's had to
260 on the bar, rack height 13 for William
to make sure
Quinn.
you're on top of the rules. Because the guy has to unrack his heaviest weight twice there, which takes energy.
It's so easy to just lift that one little thing with your kit as well and then crack everything.
Yeah.
It is something that when we get back and having more people here, the handler would be important for.
Yeah. And I think the more competitions, even coming to watch, you're picking up bits and pieces for watching people and learning. You see somebody making that mistake, you won't do it yourself the next time. Next lifter, we've got William Smith. He's attempting 260 kilos. He's successful lifts. Last being 250. Williams, as we mentioned earlier, he's quite a wider stance squatter. His second lift seemed to be easier than his first. He seemed to get in the groove a bit better.
Yeah.
So we'll see how his technique fares this time. Important again to keep his knees out as he comes through the lift, or he'll collapse in on himself. Nice and deep. These are coming a wee bit. Just as I said, it makes it tricky when you're going so wide. It's to
That's
keep
no
that
lift
position
there
with your knees to be
for
able to
William.
get yourself through the lift.
272.5,
And
rack
he kind
height
of done it in his
13
first
for
lift, but he was
Felix
solid in
Reed.
the setting but on the third, I think he maybe actually dropped it.
272.5.
And it made it difficult to push through his heels.
He had a really good setup, but it was nice and kind of chilled and just coming out again.
Yeah.
Not wasting any.
Last 2 squats of the day.
Okay, we've now got Felix Ruiz, and he's going to attempt 272.5 kilos. Now, this is a massive jump up from. Sorry, it's 265, 267. The writing's a bit small for my eyes. He's moved up 5 kilo jump.
Bars loaded for Felix.
$93 kilo lifter. His last lift was pretty tough. He's going to have to work pretty hard through this one, but a very strong squat. Jim Mutry getting a wee grimace on the side referee at the bar, jump up and down. He's a wee bit of a stickler for that kind of behaviour, I think.
Is it so aggressive?
That's it.
Yeah.
It takes a wee bit of time to get the knees locked out. It's maybe something that you could probably try a bit quicker. It's particularly on the top lifts when you're expending energy. He's working so hard, but he's not there. The spotters have done
Well,
the
spotters there, no lift
There's no
for
back spotter
Felix
today,
there.
just the contact and
280 now on the bar, rack height
And it makes,
15 for
so
Lewis
difficult
Kelly.
to handle the weight, particularly when somebody fails.
Last
So
squat of the
spotter's
morning.
done brilliant.
The
there.
morning,
Take that.
afternoon even.
And each lift, they've both of them very well sticking to the rules, staying with it. But they've also, like, with this, they missed the rack. They've held on to it. They're there. They're
That's right.
properly racked
That's
in.
right. It's very important for a lifter to keep with the bar. In general, when you fail a squat, you're not failing it because it's 50 kilos too heavy.
No.
You're failing it because it's minimal
5, 10.
over your maximum, if you like. So you should be able to stay with it with a slight bit of a
Bars
50
loaded for
kilo
Lewis,
squat.
280 kilos. Let's go, Lewis.
Here's Lewis Kelly. He's gone up to a big 280 kilos. It's 267.5 his best left. Okay, this is a 2.5 kilo increase. This is quite a big jump. Big effort here. Drops in. Puts that back and shoulders into the back. And he's straightened up. That looks a good lift to me.
Lift is good!
Heavier squat of the day, well done. Well, that concludes your squat for this session.
That concludes squats for today. We're going to take a 10-minute break. 10-minute break.
We'll have 10 minutes
Before we start with bench for group
comes back.
C.
We'll take a short break as well, and we'll join you soon. Thanks very much. Welcome back. Whoever's decided to stay tuned and watch here.
You still want to listen to us talking away.
That's it.
I wonder how many people have us on mute and they're just watching the screen.
Well, maybe not. I wouldn't put it past anybody to meet us. I don't know.
We also wouldn't be offended, so yes.
I'm certainly not going to listen back to my talking after it anyway. I might look back at the stream, but I'll be putting it on mute. Bench press next, which should just be kicking off shortly. We've currently got 72 people on, I believe.
Kind of wish you hadn't told me that.
That's telling me the truth here. I think the stream's sitting about maybe 20 to 30 seconds behind what it is live here, what I could see. It's the first time we're looking at since we've went on, so I think we're about maybe 30 seconds behind, which is fine.
Bars loaded for Alex Rogers, 75 kilo opener on bench. Alex will be followed by Kier,
First lifter on the bench,
Mike
Alex
and
Rogers,
Peter.
75 kilos. Got 3 people on now, so start to tune back in for the bench press. We'll try and talk you through some bench press form on maybe technique and stuff and show you or explain maybe where some people are going right or wrong as we go along. Alex, no wrist straps for this lift.
Betty's wearing his belt, which again is a preference.
Yeah.
Not everybody will.
Yeah.
Nice and easy
I've always
opener,
got
3
a belt
whites
to
there
bench,
for Alex.
particularly when I bench the
105
bench
now on the bar
you
for
need it to
Kier
hold it in
White,
place,
rack
but
height 6.
I've lately been training without the belt for raw lifts, just to try and engage a bit more core and see if I
Yeah.
could maybe, I don't know, arch a wee bit better, get myself in a better position, and it's no affected strength at all, I don't think. If anything, I think it's assisted, so
I've never worn my belt to lift. I've never been able to get comfortable on a bench with it.
yeah, I think a lot of people are, it's just a preference. There's another guy coming without his belt, this is Kier White.
Bars loaded for Kier.
He's tipped on 105 kilos. Again, there's no centre lift off today. It's either side lift off or you can unwrap the bar yourself.
Yes.
The centre referee will wait on the elbows being locked. His elbows aren't locked at the moment. So you've seen when I was talking earlier about one of the side referees who put their hands down if they've
Lift is good, 2
ready,
to 1.
like knees locked, elbows locked.
115
The right hand
now on the
judge
bar.
had
Rack
kept her
height
hand up
9
because she
for
felt
Mike
that his elbows weren't
McQuaid.
locked. I personally don't think his elbows were locked either. But the centre referee gave him the down command because the other side referee was in agreement for that.
Yeah.
That
You've got your 2 to 1
majority
again.
2 to 1 he was able to give him the start, but he was automatically going to get a red from the side ref. So, but he got the left 2 to 1.
Bars loaded for Mike.
And one of the other important ones to remember on your bench is that your bum's got good contact with the bench as well, isn't it?
That's right. I think for a referee particularly, it's the hardest lift to ref, if you like, because you've got so much components. You've got to keep an eye on your feet. Have got to be flat on the floor. Your feet can move. Your feet can basically slide all over the platform if you like, as long as they stay flat and in contact with the floor.
Okay.
Your head's to touch the bench, and your shoulders have to touch the bench. And your bum.
And your bum.
And also, if your feet actually come in contact with the centre leg in the bench, that's a fail as well.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
So you've
Lift
got to
is
make sure your feet are
good.
independent of the bench. And
120 on the bar now for Peter Young. Rack height 7.
sorry, we missed out Mike McQuaid's name there. That was Mike McQuaid that just lifted, and he lifted 115 kilos. The next lifter is Peter Young. He's attempting 120 kilos, and he's 83 kilos. This
Bars
weight
loaded.
is 83 kilos, ranging from junior all the way up to Masters 2. Unconventional setup, walking in through the other side of the bench. Don't know how necessary that is, but that's his preference, and that's how he likes it. His heels are flat on the floor. Needs to be set. His bum is a wee bit up from here, so you'll not get the down command there.
He plans it beforehand.
Yeah, the down signal for the side rest took a bit of time because he was hovering his bum.
Lift is good.
You'll
Looks
see
like a
if,
nice easy angle.
125 now on the bar for Gym 1.
if you
Right
watch some of the
7.
international refereeing, if you watch any IPF internationals, you'll see some of the competitions.
Mike McQuaid, we need your second attempt at the table, quick as you can,
have a white
please.
light that sits at the side, roughly where one of the side refs sits, that shines through.
It shines through, so
So
you
you
can
can
see
see a
it.
light
Yeah.
coming under. They have that at quite a lot of them actually. And that's just to spot the clear daylight underneath.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Dark singlet,
Yeah,
dark bench.
that's it.
Mike McQuaid, your second attempt, quick as you can at the table.
Now we've got Jim Wands coming up. He's an M2 lifter.
Bars loaded.
He's attempting 125 kilos. I believe you've seen Mike lifting. Jim lifting that this will be quite a comfortable lift for him.
Now, Jim likes his feet very close together.
It's a wee bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but
Yep.
they've taken that. A wee bit surprised. I've seen
No lift,
Jim
unfortunately, there for Jim.
and training and stuff posted, and
132.5 now for Mark Fulton.
So maybe the
Rack height
setup
9.
issue or
Yep.
something not quite right. So hopefully he'll correct his mistake and come back next one.
Bars loaded for Mark.
Mark Fulton coming in, 132.5 kilos. M1 lifter. The Scottish record for this lift, it's been sitting 10 years, that's 151 kilos. I think it's Mike Martner. That's an easy lift there.
That looked very easy.
Yeah, I think
Lift
he's
is
got a lot more
good.
He's made sure he's got a comfortable
140 kilos now for Craig Watson. Rack height 6.
Craig Watson next, 140 kilos.
Bars loaded for Craig.
Scottish record for this weight class for open category is 175 kilos.
When was that?
That's a track lift. That was done 2016. Right. I'm not sure his first name, your Rutherford.
Very
That's a
clean.
nice bench, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy 3 white lights there for Craig.
You'll get the press command. From
140
the referee once
stays on the bar.
is
Rack height
motionless
4
on the
for
check.
Raymark
I think a
Japson.
misconception of a lot of people that it's got to pause in the press, but the rule book doesn't mention the word pause or wait or anything like that. It's purely when the bar becomes motionless. So it's got to stop and stop moving. So you could stop
Bars
at your chest,
loaded for
but if
Raymark.
it's kind of oscillating side to side a wee bit and a wee bit of movement, technically you won't get the command till it stops. So the quicker you bring the bar to a stop and keep it motionless, the quicker you should get your
Your first command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see this big barrel chest of Ray Marks will help him bench. He's been asked to re-rack because it's been deemed that his fingers are outside the limit of the ring.
Yeah.
The ring limit is 810 millimetres, or 81 centimetres from ring to ring. And if there's anything that's showing, it's deemed that your hands are too wide. And General Centre Rep has deemed that to be the case.
That's a no lift, unfortunately.
It's got a no lift, but I think the reason for it was he
He beat the signal.
He beat the signal there, yeah. Yeah, beat the signal, so he's failed the lift. Now that may be down to the fact that he was told to re-rack it and his concentration.
Moving on to second attempts now.
Because his concentration went, he's maybe
We'll
just.
get 80 kilos on the bar for
doing a bit
Alex
easier.
Rogers at
Working
height
a little bit,
9.
rushing
Alex
through
will be followed by Kier, Mike, and Jim.
Again, all these wee things where you're getting your set up right, correctly, not going too wide with your fingers. All these wee bit pieces could aid you in a smoother, stress-free lift.
Bars loaded for Alex.
Alex Rogers, in the second attempt, 80 kilos. Wee bit of narrower grip this time. There's not going to be any danger that he's going to go outside the ring. Quite long arms, bit far to travel. That's an easy lift.
Makes it look easy, yeah.
Plenty in the
Easy
pack.
3 white lights there for Alex.
First competition again for
110
Alex,
kilos
so
on the
he's
bar
obviously
now. Rack
to
height
join the
6
competition.
for Kier White.
I think there's plenty more strength there. Kier White next, 110 kilos.
Bars loaded for Kier.
No belt, no wrist straps this time again. As raw as you like. Also, shoes that are flat soled. But sometimes can be a wee bit tricky on bench if you have a tendency to push off your toes. Raise your heels a wee bit. He just got a wee reminder from the ref about working his elbows out, which he wasn't doing. I think the side refs hadn't dropped their hands either, so I don't know if his bum was still up there on his feet. Again, it's all wasted energy before you start.
Still executed it.
Quite a tough lift, yeah, but he's got it.
That's a good
He's got
lift.
Right line, well done.
Kept his composure.
Next up, Mike McQuaid. 122.5. Rack height 9. Mike will be followed by Jim, Peter, Mark, and then Ray Mark.
Mike McQuaid, next up, 122.5 kilos.
Bars loaded for Mike.
The referee certainly spotted it, but you can see he's got his knee sleeves around his ankles. No, that's not allowed. No, it's not allowed. If that was spotted by the referees, he'd be asked to leave the platform.
It's just not allowed to have one at all.
No, you could wear them, but you're not allowed to have them sitting there.
Okay.
They've got to be sitting either on or off
On or off.
properly. Maybe pause in the middle there. I think he'll be fine.
But there was
Good
too much of a
lift,
down
good one.
motion.
The centre referees gave him one, and he picked up the yellow. So he
125
thinks
for
he's done a
Jim
movement. He
Wands.
did pause in the middle.
Rack
So
height
it's
7.
tricky for the centre, the side refs to do that. You can stop as long as you don't go down. The whole of the bar must go down. You'll see when the one side drop a wee bit as the other hand goes up. But that would be fine. It's the whole of the bar lowers through the lift.
And the lifter's just asking for clarification as well, which is excellent because then
Yeah.
you're going to know.
Bar loaded.
Yeah, that's right. Jim Lawrence failed his first lift at 125. He's reattempted the fail. So hopefully Jim will have corrected what he done the last time. I'm sure it's not a strength issue. And hopefully I'll be able to correct it here. He'll probably concentrate more on his setup here, make sure he's tight and in control. And that was
That's a good lift, 2 to 1.
one red light. I didn't see the colours getting lifted up, but I would suggest that maybe he's come off
135
the
now
bench.
for Peter Young, rack height 7.
That was an example of a very
He'll
quick.
be followed by Mark, Raymark, and Craig.
Down, motionless, stopped. And
That's
then went
right.
again.
That's right. He made sure he'd done the perfectly technique-wise, because I think he knew that he was up against that.
Yeah.
He's obviously just feeling not as strong bench today. So what he
Bars loaded for Peter
maybe a
Young.
weight cut sometimes affects you, particularly in the bench. I think you're anything to go strength-wise when you're cutting weight is normally your bench first. We've got Peter Young up now for 135 kilos. Take his bum off the bench, he's going to lower that, that's him down now. He's now got the side referee's approval. He's up. And he's got
That's a no lift, 2 to 1.
why it's a no lift. I think one of the referees was signalling that his bum was off the bench. I think that some people hover their bum off the bench to get their lift off. To get themselves in a good arc
137.5
position.
now on
Yeah.
the bar, rack height
But
9
I
for
think
Mark
he
Fulton.
took a while to lower.
Bars loaded.
Which is extra time you've got in your hands. If you're going to do that, you need to get yourself back down quickly. The longer you're holding it, the harder it'll be.
And it's a little bit like cutting a squat that you don't want to run the risk of having your bum off. You want it properly connecting,
Yeah, that's right.
just for security.
Mark Fulton, 137.5 kilos. 132.5 is his opener. Comfortable lift, a bit narrower grip again.
Very controlled on the
Lift
movement.
is good.
White light. Good lift.
147.5. Rack height 4 for Raymark Jackson.
Raymark Jackson next. 147.5.
Bar is loaded for Raymark.
Partially a bit. No belt for Raymark, but he's got his wrist strap. Good arcs, big setup. Easy lift. Maximum wood grip there as well.
Lift is good.
Follow the commands this time.
Yep.
150 on the bar now. Rack height
Raymark,
6
if you
for
remember,
Craig Watson.
fifth lift due to,
After Craig will be going
Yeah.
into third
Because
attempt.
he had to move its hands
That's right.
first time.
I
Yeah.
think it just took his concentration a wee bit. But he went up 7.5 kilos for his first attempt, so he was obviously confident that it was just a technical error as opposed to strength.
Yeah.
Bars loaded for Craig.
Pretty
Craig
clear
Watson,
from the rim.
150 kilo attempt. This is our last lifter on this group. It's a 10 kilo increase for his first lift. I think he was tempted to move a wee
Lift
bit
is
earlier.
good.
It's
Tiny
like he
little bit,
almost
yeah.
stopped himself just in time.
Just remembered.
Yeah, very
But
good.
he did.
Yeah,
Moving
Remember?
into
3 whites, that was a great one.
third attempt now for
He's very
group
controlled in
C.
the rep itself.
90 kilos on the bar. Rack height 9 for Alex Rogers. Alex will be followed by Keir White, Mike McQuaid, and then Jim Wan.
That's us now moving on to the third bench of this first group. First lifter is Alex Rogers, taking 90 kilos. He's had 2 comfortable lifts so far, 75 and 80. So I'm not surprised he's went up 10 kilos for his start. And he's quite conservative his first 2 attempts. I would still think that this would be easy.
Bar is loaded for Alex.
I think he's bumped coming off the bench as well. So he's been asked to take it to the centre there. I think he lost a lot of time.
The no lifts, unfortunately.
The bar sinking
Very
into his
much
body.
112.5 now.
He seemed to take the
Rack height
tension away
6
from his upper
for
body
Keir White.
when the bar came into his chest. You could also feel your lift for what's called heaving the bar. And
I did that on
heaving-
my first third attempt. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, heaving or sinking into your
Yep.
chest. It's giving you like that spring, if you like, a bounce from your chest. So that's not allowed. So you've got to be careful of that. And I think he's partially done that there and put the tension for his upper body.
Yeah.
Okay, next lifter is Keir White. He's 112.5 kilos.
Bars loaded for Keir.
We're up to 77 watchers now. Hope everybody's enjoying that. Start the man. Comfortable bench. Okay.
Lift is good. 125 now for Mike McQuaid. Rack height 9.
Been quite impressed with standard of the lifting today as well. It's been strong throughout for the ladies in the morning through here. And considering there's no competition for a while, we're kind of limited the numbers. We've still put on a very good standard competition. I'd like to see hopefully next year more Scottish lifters going to British
Bars loaded.
Championships. I think in recent years there's been kind of a lack of top lifters travelling to go to the British and put themselves against the best in the country, where I think we've got the talent to more than showcase it. And it's only by competing in these big competitions that you learn and experience it and push yourself for the next time. And the sticking point, he's not getting through that. And
No lift there, unfortunately,
Give
for
it a good
Mike.
try.
Yeah.
130 kilos now on the bar. Rack height 7 for Jim Wands. Then will be followed by Mark,
130 kilos.
Peter, Raymark, and then Craig.
This is a kind of weight 130 I've seen Jim mention numerous times. So today he's obviously just feeling that a wee bit. He's just come off doing a quick.
Let's go, Jim
ago.
Bar loaded.
Yeah.
And that can have an effect when you've been in a bench shirt or kit for a few weeks leading up to a competition. Your raw strength usually suffers a wee bit until you get yourself back used to it.
They're two very different things,
Yeah,
aren't
very different. It's massive with technique and equip and a wee bit of different movement with the elbows and stuff, so it could take you out your natural line of classic if you like. He must be ready for that. I think he decided
No,
to
that's
try to put a fly on and
unfortunately
just get it
for
straight up off his chest. Nobody will notice that and I'll just bounce it up.
140 now on the bar for
But it wasn't
Mark
happening.
Fulton. Rack height is 9.
I think that's just a hangover of suffering from
Mark,
training.
then
Nothing
Peter,
more
then
than
Ray Mark, and then Craig.
Got Mark
Bar
Fulton,
is loaded for Mark.
140 kilos. A 2.5 increase for his last one. It's not an unusual jump, 2.5 kilos on a third lift to a bench press, because generally you're kind of near your limit as you get to that stage, and 5 kilo jumps on your last is quite unusual. Pressing that out now, good lift. Strong triceps, another one.
Lift is good. 140 stays on the bar. Rack height 7 for Peter Young.
140 kilos for Peter Young. Peter got his first lift at 120, failed his second at 135.
Bars loaded.
So again, this is quite a jump up. So he obviously thinks that he's got this kind of strength in him, but he's sticking to his plan on what he was wanting to move up each lift. But I was racking it trailer last time, was it? That I remember.
Can't remember.
I think his bum was off the floor the last time as
Bum,
well.
yeah.
Strength there. So, well, let's see if he
Yeah.
gets weights.
Lift is good.
Well done. He obviously knew he had it in him. Just been a couple of technical issues
152.5.
that,
Rack height 4 now
failed
for
on the last time.
Raymar.
He's very pleased with that.
Yeah, so he should be. Good lift. Some strong bench in there. Remark Jackson, 152.5.
Bars loaded.
This is 5 kilo increase from his setting. Setting lift looked very strong. Maximum wood grip. He was called out for that in his first to move in. Had to be that. He's been called out for the hands
Mark,
again.
settle down. Index finger, get tight. Come on. Get tight.
It's all wasted energy. You have to get it past Jimmy to the center seat there.
Yep. 3,
Old
2,
school
1.
referee. You're not taking any nonsense there.
Stop. Next. 1 more.
Strength's really easy enough.
That's a no lift, 2-1, unfortunately.
Two centre referees are holding up their yellow cards, which would probably suggest that his bum came off the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see the centre.
And we're going into the last bench for this group. Craig Watson, 155, rack height 6. Group D, get ready, we'll be benching after this.
Last lift of the first group. Craig Watson hitting 155 after passing his 150 seconds ahead.
Bars loaded for Craig.
Lift at 150 was already the heaviest of this group, so this is to increase that. It's certainly going to be quite tight once it gets the deadlifts for overall. There's 2 or 3 lifters in the mix. Once we get the deadlifts, we'll try and give you what the totals are and what that means. He's got control of the bar now. I think he was ready to go as well. Eh? He
Yeah.
hit his chest.
Not
He was
ready
ready to go before the
unfortunately.
command, so you kind of knew that
And that
he was
concludes
feeling it a bit heavy.
Group D, so we'll be moving into Group D,
Good
Ben.
bench, no? It's a good
Charlie
start.
Payton will be up
We'll go
first.
straight into the second group. There's no waiting
Charlie will
around.
be followed by Felix, then Danny, William, Robert, and then Lewis. 65, rack height 11 for Charlie.
Are you itching to get back in, Sam, and compete? What's it with you?
Yes and no. I mean, I was never particularly competitive. So for me, I'm happy just tootling along just now.
Just doing your own thing,
Yeah,
yeah?
having the year off almost, it's
Yeah.
getting back into it. It's a
Yeah.
bit weird.
I know. I think a lot of people are like that. It's a case of using that time just to kind of enjoy themselves a wee bit and not get the
Yeah.
pressure of the competition. And just kind of preparing themselves for the next one.
I've been enjoying working on a lot of little form things and using the volume time and fixing stuff and kind
Yeah.
of trying to get out my own head and think, oh, but this isn't as heavy as what I used to lift. And go,
Yeah.
well, tough. This is where you are.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to accept that, particularly coming back for injuries. I've had my fair share myself coming back for cartilage surgery in November and adductor tear at the beginning of the year. It's just kind of getting back to full pain again. So
Bars
you've
loaded.
just got to expect that sometimes you lift less than others, and you've just got to accept it along with the training. Charlie Payton, coming in at 65 kilos. Again, Charlie's first competition, he was telling me earlier. So gets this one in, he's got a total on the board and an
Yeah.
overall PB to beat the next time. Keep those heels on the floor. He's not feeling it. That's kind of sensible. If you're not feeling it, start again. Get back
Exactly.
on it. You've got the minute to do it. Don't rush it.
Just get yourself settled.
Get your bum down.
Beautiful.
That's a good lift. 127.5 now for Felix Ruiz, rack height 7.
Hopefully, us here at Scottish Powerlifting could have a few competitions on the calendar coming up after this one. This was kind of a test event for us just to make sure that we were able to cope with any guidelines or procedures that were in place to run a smooth and safe competition for lifters and everybody else involved. There's numbers that we're only allowed in certain venues, so that kind of limits
Rack
us to
height
what we
7.
could do and what not. So I'm pretty sure now that this is over, this competition anyway, that we'll certainly have more in the pipeline. I was speaking to John Soulsby, who's a competition secretary, and we're certainly looking at that.
Bars
What it's
loaded.
doing to bring more in. We usually have a schedule around about 10 in a year, which is pretty much more than any division in Great Britain, if you like. So we're kind of proud that we could put these competitions on so often, so hopefully we'll get back to that very soon. Felix Ruiz, 127.5 kilos in his first attempt. Getting his tail up. And his shoulders into the bench.
Put his foot's down.
It's been asked to rack it again.
Hands.
The width, again, has been an issue. As I said before, the two rings that are on the powerlifting bar are 810 millimetres wide, and you must cover them with your fingers. If they're visible at all, you have to be back. It's been asked to rack twice. We've not got a clock on today at the minute, but maybe be struggling to get yourself set for that time.
Lift is good.
Good lift this time.
Perfect. got there.
137.5 now for Danny
I think
McWilliam.
sometimes the trouble when
Rack
you're,
height 12.
when
Danny
you
will
first
be
put
followed
your
by
hands on the
William,
bar,
then Robert,
from
then
visible
Lewis.
from underneath, you could see that you've covered the ring. but your fingers over the top. If they slightly move as you turn
Yeah.
your wrists out slightly, the finger could move, and that would make the ring visible to the referee.
And as you
Although-
settle yourself, you're going to be thinking about other things and just
Yeah.
not quite watching it.
But from underneath, your actual fold of your
Bars
hand, your thumb
loaded.
could be covering that if you like.
Yeah.
So you've just got to be careful of that. Danny McCulliam, 137.5 kilos for his first attempt. No issues with legs there, it's quite narrow. Head may be off the bench, so we're not. We'll see if this front side, all of the front leg can spot that.
That's a good lift.
No, wasn't
Nope.
spotted.
140 on the bar now. Rack height 9 for
Some of
William
the bigger
Smith.
lads have got quite long arms. They've got a long way to get their bench.
Yeah, that was quite a long way to travel. Just on the head, you saw there that kind of head did hover off the bench as he was pressing. It's hard for a referee to see that, and that is one of the rules that must stay on the bench at all times.
You do kind of need to be looking at a couple of things.
Bars
Because you need to watch the
loaded.
bar path to make sure you're not going up and down too many times, and you've got to watch all these other bits and pieces.
There's also a rule in there, anybody with long hair, ponytails or whatever, if your hair is hanging over the bench at the back, the referee could actually move that so you could visibly see the underside of your head.
Oh, yes.
William Smith, 140 kilos. It's an easy lift.
Very good.
Lift
Wait,
is
wait.
good. 140 staying on the bar. Rack height 11 for Robert. He'll be followed by Lewis.
Robert Scobie next, 140 kilos. Everybody's safely in so far.
Bars loaded.
Nearly jumped to command. I think
Almost.
he's okay though.
Yeah.
It's a good lift 2 to 1.
2 to 1. One of the referees must have thought that he just jumped before.
162.5 now. Rack height 8 for Lewis Kelly.
Lewis Kelly next, 162.5 kilos.
Lewis will be followed by Charlie Payton.
So that's the last of the first one.
Yeah, it is. The last one of the first round. The first lift anyway.
Yeah.
Bars loaded.
Bars loaded for Lewis.
Lewis Kelly, 162.5 kilos. 105 kilo weight category. Good luck.
Easy
clean.
opener there for Lewis. 1 and 2 second attempts now. Charlie Payton, 70 kilos on the bar, rack height 11.
Second left for Charlie.
Charlie will be followed by Felix, then Danny,
70
then
kilos.
Robert. Bar loaded.
Bars loaded for Charlie. Get yourself psyched up there. Got a wee bit of wiggle before he went in there, was it?
I wonder if that's part of the setup.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I
Make
suppose
sure
the-
everything's loose.
I suppose the nightclubs are closed and he's got to dance somewhere. What a better place to do it in your first competition?
As long as
I
it's not
don't-
during a lift, I think we're okay.
I don't know if it'll impress Jim and the centre feet. Luke's ready to go. Nice easy. Yeah. Delighted with that.
Lift
Holding
is
all the
good there
points
for
first lift as
Charlie.
well for first comp. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
132.5 now for Felix Ruiz. Rack height 7.
132.5 kilos. So everybody for the first round are in, all got a lift, so could relax and then go for it.
Bars loaded for Felix.
Felix had a big squat in the first round, 267.5 kilos. That's 132, I'll put him on a subtotal of 400. Comfortable enough. 233 white light.
Very clean.
Lift
That
is
is
good there
well
for Felix. 145 now for Danny McWilliam. Rack height 12. Danny will be followed by Robert, then William, then Lewis.
Rick Clifton has done it, McWilliam, 145 kilos.
Bars loaded.
Bars loaded and ready to go. There might be a wee bit downward movement. A third of the way up, which might feel fair.
It's a
Yeah.
no lift,
Three red
unfortunately.
lights.
3 reds.
Bit of downward movement at the bottom half as he pressed. I think that's what the issue was.
145 for Robert
There's
Scobie.
another one that seemed to
Rack
collect
height
the
11.
chest quite a lot before.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
just
right.
dropped a little tension.
Yeah, it's important to keep that tension there as the weight gets heavier. You need to use everything that you've got if it is
Bars
a
loaded.
difficult lift. That, just too heavy from this bank. Well done to the
No lift there, unfortunately.
spotters.
150 now on the bar. Rack height 9 for William Smith. He'll be followed by Lewis Kelly and then Charlie Payton.
William Smith, 150 kilo. 10 kilo jump from the left.
Bars loaded.
Strong setup. Big breath. Keep the tension on. And good pressure.
Lovely.
Good technique bench there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That's a good lift.
He gets a nice control weight at the bottom again, so he's brought it
167.5.
down to his motionless nice and quick.
Rack
Yeah,
height
fine.
8 now for Lewis Kelly.
Big shout out while we're here to Dean Roberts and Alicia for letting us host the competition again. It's a great venue for competitions, and Dean's done well with us over the last few years.
It's a lovely setup for the club to being able to warm up just behind rather than another room or something.
That's right, it's ideal if you've got the warm-up area right next to where you're lifting. I've been at
Bar
a few
loaded.
venues in my time where you have to walk the length of a building from the warm-up room to the lifting area. There's Lewis Kelly. Attempting 167.5. Comfortable lift again.
Lift is good.
Well done.
Nice and smooth.
Into final bench press of the day. 80 kilos on the bar. Rack height 11 for Charlie Payton. Charlie will be followed by Felix, Danny, and then Robert. Bars loaded.
Charlie Payton, that. $80 kilos, third attempt. A 10 kilo jump. Last one was quite easy, so we'll see how this goes. Heels came off the floor there. I don't think he'll get a. He had a wee bounce with the heel drop on his toes, so I think he'll get.
Oh, 2-1, unfortunately, no
That's
lift.
a no lift. I'm surprised one of the
149
sides
on the
that.
bar. Rack height
to the
7
right.
for Felix.
I wonder if it was just hard to see.
Felix followed by
Yeah.
Danny,
Both
then
heels came
Robert,
up
then
on.
William.
It's hard to spot all these wee things when you're refereeing because you're watching the bum, you're watching the head, shoulders, feet,
Yeah.
watching the arms looking out. Referees in a wee discussion about what happened there.
I think they all did see something slightly different
Yeah,
as well because
that's
you all
right.
looked at it from a different part.
Yeah.
Bars loaded.
Oh, nearly brought his headphones.
Yeah. You said straight back off.
Yep, he remembered.
Here's Felix Ruiz at 140 kilos. Yeah, good lift.
Very smooth.
Good lift. That should be three.
Lift is good. 2-1.
One red, but he's got two. That's all I need.
145 on the bar. Rack height 12 now for Danny
I
McWilliam.
think she's signalling that.
Quick reminder at
before
the end of
the
bench,
rack
we're going to
come
have
up.
a 10-minute
He did
break before
move
we
slightly,
start deadlifts for Group C.
That's what you think of a referee.
Whether it was a wobble because it was heavy or
Yeah,
that bit move
yeah.
or
I think it was a wobble from my eyes here, but she's right beside, so she can see better.
Yep.
But he's got 2-1, so that's
Bars
not bad.
loaded.
Got Danny McCooliam lifting 145 kilos. Third attempt.
I mean, that looks like 50.
I think he had a wee movement there. I don't know if he'll moving it or not. His bum's well off the bench, I think. So I think there was a few things wrong with that. I think he moved early.
That's a no lift, unfortunately.
Yeah, three red light, no light.
145 on the bar. Rack height 11 for
So I think he
Robert.
split it a few
Robert will be
different
followed by William and then Lewis. Bars loaded.
bars loaded for Robert Scobie, 145 kilos again. Robert failed this lift in his last attempt, so we'll see if he could muster up some power. Let's check out. He's fighting through it, Look those triceps out, good lift. Let's see
Like
what the
his thumb
side
came up
judges
a wee
think.
bit.
That's a no lift,
No lift,
unfortunately.
he's obviously lifted up again. Certainly got the power to stay through.
Yeah.
157.5 now.
Made it
Rack
good this
height
time.
9 for
Yeah.
William Smith.
William Smith,
Second last bench of the day.
157.5 kilos.
Bar loaded.
Bars loaded for William Smith. He's had two good benches already. Very good technique. Keeps yourself in a strong position, but keeps that chest high all the way through. Front again. Power through to the triceps. Can you lock it out? Yes. Good lift.
Lift is
Good.
good.
You can see the difference when somebody maintains a
170. Rack
he
height
kept his
8
chest
for
high,
Lewis
shoulder blades
Kelly.
were tucked in the whole time.
Last
He
bench
didn't
of the
deviate
day.
and use his strength to finish
Then we're
it.
going to have 10 minutes before we start deadlifts for Group C.
Last bench press of the day. Lewis Kelly attempting 170 kilos. 2.5 on top of his last lift.
Bars loaded for Lewis.
Won the Lewis, last lift of the day. Heaviest bench of the day. Lewis has certainly improved over the last couple of years in his lifts. Starting to show a bit of form. Good. I think that would suggest that was the easiest lift of all.
3 white lights and a good
Three white
lift.
lights. That looks like an opener. Well done. That concludes your bench
That
press
concludes
for the day.
bench.
We've got a 10
For
minute break
today.
before deadlifts, so we'll see
So we've
you
got
then.
10 minutes and then we'll be back. Mike, and Peter.
Okay, welcome back. Final part of the day. That's the deadlift. The only lift that matters in powerlifting, to be honest.
Bars
The
loaded
other two
for
lifts are just to get to this point.
Alex Rogers.
Alex Rogers is coming in, 190 kilos. Good lift for the lightest one of the session. We'll surely see some big lifts later on, I'm sure. Hopefully getting close to 300. Conventional stance. Got quite a high sole on his shoe. Find that he'll change that down the line. A wee bit of jerk up, but I think he'll be fine.
Like a tiny hitch, but yeah.
Yeah, we've not got the lights up on the screen yet. We're just waiting on that.
Lift is good. Lift is good.
That's good. Good lift.
202.5 now for Jim Wands.
Jim Wands is coming in, 202.5. Drop now.
Bars loaded for Jim.
Sumo setup. I like a sumo.
Yeah. Good lift.
80.
Good
Lift is
lift.
good. 210. 210 on for Mike McQuaid. He'll be followed by Craig Watson, Peter
Mike
Young,
McQuaid, next
and
to us.
Keira White.
210 kilos on the bar. All 83 kilo lifters lifting here, but none of which
Bars
are
loaded.
the age class for this competition. It's purely just a kind of open competition, if you like. But we've got one M1 and one M2 lifter, but any scoring will be judged on everybody. It's not really categorised today. He's got a sumo style and hook, correct?
And hook, yeah.
That looks clever.
Lift is good.
What the referees are looking for here is
220 on the bar for
the bar
Craig
goes up one
Watson.
movement, it doesn't go up and down.
Yep.
But also not looking for the bar to be resting on the leg. Generally called hitching the bar. There's no such word in the rules as hitching. It's supported on the thighs, they call it.
Okay.
So if the bar is deemed as to
Bars
rest on the
loaded.
thighs, they're sits there. That's really what a hitch is.
And we're looking for full lockout.
Yeah, full lock out the top, knees locked out, locked right, and shoulders back. This is a conventional stance, so that's quite good.
That looked nice and easy,
Good lift.
definitely.
That was
Lift
good.
is good. Same weight stays on the bar for Peter Young.
Peter Young's coming in with the same weight, 220 kilos.
Bars loaded.
Sumo again. He's got his no rabati wrinkly socks at the bottom. He's obviously one of these lifters like me who suffer short leg syndrome.
It's a good
And
lift.
socks, if he's pulled up too high, goes over his
227.5 now
So
for
they've got to
Keira
be
White. To be
baggy at the
followed by
bottom.
Ray Mark and then Mark.
SBD need to come out with a sock that's nose long.
Petite range.
That's right. Keira White, next up, with 227
Bar
kilos.
is loaded.
Good opening weights for 83 kilo class. Again, female stance. That was a good.
Popped up, didn't it?
That was a
Good
good.
lift.
A good.
240
example
now on the bar for Ray
The
Mark
idea is to
Jackson.
keep your torso as upright as you can. So
240.
you're lifting the bar in a straight up line, using as little lower back as you can, and that was a good example of that.
Bars loaded.
I think a lot of sumo lifters that move from conventional go into sumo stance, but then pick the bar up in a conventional fashion, where
Gripping it.
they come up far too
Yes.
quickly and their body's still leaning forward, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the lift. He never got the down signal.
So no
It's
lift,
getting the ref
unfortunately.
deep that he didn't look out properly.
255 now for Mark
She
Fulton.
kind of beat me to it. I was
Mark
about
will be
to
followed
suggest the
by
fact that
Alex and then
didn't think he
Jim.
was locked out completely. He definitely wasn't in the position where he was going to get the down command.
Yeah.
I think we needed the trolley jack on there just to
Maybe a little
tighten him
bit.
up a wee bit.
Bars loaded.
That foot was coming in at 255 kilos. 255 kilos equals the Scottish M1 record. So hopefully Mark will get this and then take the record in his next lift. Conventional. Comfortable lift.
Yep.
223 white.
Lift is
Yeah,
good.
Clean again.
Moving into second attempts. 200 on the bar for Alex Rogers. Alex will followed by Tim, then Mike, then
I've
Craig.
just drank a coffee there. I decided to get it black and I think I've just scalded my windpipe.
Bars loaded.
Alex Rogers, sitting left 200 kilos. Let's see everybody in the competition go over 200. Come on then, Alex. Aggression there, Alex. Hitch that up. I think you'll get through that. I was talking about the resting on the
That's a
thigh.
no lift,
What he
unfortunately.
did, so he's rested the bar on his thigh and assisted
Then
them
moved it a
by
little
pulling
bit.
it up.
Yeah.
215 now for Jim Wands.
Jim Wan's 215 kilos.
215 for
This
Jim.
actually goes 2.5 kilos above his M2 83 kilo record, which is 212.5, currently held by Willie Lincoln. So, again, this is another Scottish record attempt.
Bar is loaded for Jim.
Come on then, Jim, let's see it. That's a good lift, it looks like.
That's a good lift there
Good
for
lift.
Jim.
222.5
222.5 for Mike McQuaid. Bar is loaded.
Mike McQuaid coming in with 222.5 kilos. Twelve and a half kilo increase in his first lap. Looks good.
That's a good lift.
Good lap, see white light.
230 now for Craig Watson.
I'll shout out to Greg Murray on the stream, he just messaged me. Greg's fellow
Bars loaded for Craig.
Greg's got a spell up after being elsewhere due to his job. He's competing in a couple of weeks at the British Classic. and hopefully I'll see him in the international scene in the next month or two. Lift.
It's another clean deadlift, isn't
Lift
it?
is good. 232.5 for Peter Young. Peter will be followed by Ray Mark, then Kier, then Mark.
Peter Young next.
Bars loaded.
232.5.
He still has his headphones in.
Oh, so he did. They've chucked away. Weights are starting to get a bit serious now. Nice easy lift.
Yep, still very smooth.
Lift is good.
Yeah, great lift.
240 for Ray Mark Japson.
Mark Jackson, 240 kilos.
Bars
He
loaded.
failed his first lift due to not looking out his shoulders. Got the shout for the centre ref to put his shoulders back, which technically the ref doesn't need to do. Divisional competitions, you might get that bit of assistance for the referee. Going to British and above, you won't get that cue. You'll just get
Same
told
with if you're
to
setting
go
up
down.
and you've not quite got it right.
Yeah. They made no problem there.
Lift is good. 242.5 for Kier White. 242.5. Bars loaded.
Right, 242.5.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, easy lift there. Again,
That's a good lift.
good technique,
Yep.
good forearm.
265 on the bar from Mark
Taking the
Fulton.
tension out of it. He sets
Yeah.
up and he's putting everything tight before he
Yeah.
lifts out.
We've seen a lot of good examples of the people that with good form have managed to push through their final lift, where their technique have helped them. It just shows how important it is to try and keep good form, and it's in training.
Bars
You keep good
loaded
form.
for Mark Fulton.
You've got to be proficient at training continuously to be able to bring it to the platform when you're under pressure. Mark Fulton, 265 kilos. Again, this is attempt at a Scottish Masters 1 deadlift record, which he equalled 255 in his last. This is the Scottish record. Go on the mark, up you go. Finish that. Strong sleeve. Just, I think his grip went on his
That's a no
left
lift there,
hand
unfortunately.
and just prevent him from looking out. I think the strength was there.
Moving into final deadlifts for this group.
I think that's a lift.
200 on the
Attempt
bar
again. I could
for
see
Alex
him at the
Rogers.
table just now thinking about going up, but I think
Alex will be followed by Jim,
personally,
Mike,
I'd be
and
telling you to
Craig.
see who it was. If you've already got in your head that your grip went on that lift, going heavier isn't always the best idea.
And even if you came with that, I want to get this certain number, I'd really like to get this number as your
Yeah.
total. It depends what happens on the day every time, doesn't
It's
it?
very much. I've seen so many people come into competitions and they even go so far as having all their warm-up lifts down to
Bars
exactly
loaded,
what you want
Alex.
to
Let's
warm-up.
go.
Exactly what you want to lift for first, second and third lifts. Depending on the heat, tiredness, how it goes in the event. You've got to be prepared to change that and work with it. A rigid plan doesn't always work. In fact, it's never worked for me. You've got to be fluid enough to move. Alex Rogers at 200 kilos. The referee was just waiting on walking out completely, but he's
That's a no lift, unfortunately,
I
2-1.
think that maybe the flag's red. I think that's for putting a lot of the knees out properly. And
220 on the bar now for Jim Wands. 220.
Jim wants 220. Again, this is the increase. Already broken Scottish record.
Why not, eh?
Yep. Move it on.
Bars loaded for Jim.
Come on then, Jim, pull this. Another example of female lifter. Come on then, Jim, lock it out. Up you go. That looks good to me.
Lovely.
It's a good lift.
Another Scottish record.
230 now for Mike McQuaid. Mike will be followed by Craig, then Peter, then Raymar.
This is the problem with having two sumo lifters doing the commentary. All we're going to do is talk about sumo and how much we love it. how
Yeah,
wonderful
that's
it
right.
is.
Sumo's the only way forward. Clearly.
Shouldn't have put us together.
Bars loaded.
Bars loaded for Mike McQuaid. 230 kilos. On the mic, up you go. Looks good. Locked in.
Yep.
Lift is good.
Excellent.
240 on the bar now for Craig Watson. He'll be followed by Peter Young.
Okay, now we're getting into the realms where people are kind of vying for the win here. We've got Craig Watson lifting 240 kilos. He's currently sitting on a total of 600.
Bar is loaded for Craig.
This is a lift that should secure him third spot in total. That looks to be a good one. He's got a wee laugh at the top.
And he's
He's obviously
very
happy.
happy.
with- Well done.
Same weight stays on the bar for our next lifter.
That's a 610 total. That'll move him
240 for Peter Young.
third place for the day. Peter Young with a temp 240 kilos.
Bars loaded
Currently
for
on a total of
Peter.
577 and a half. Good sumo technique as well. Right, got a wee hitch in there.
Teeny bit.
Right, could be a 50-50.
That's a no lift, 2 to 1.
Left give a white on the two sides.
250 on the bar now for Raymar. Raymar will be followed by Kier and then Mark.
This is where we get interest now. We've got two lifters that are really going for the title. Raymar Jackson, who's up next, and Mark Poole.
Bars loaded, let's go!
Raymark's currently on 670 and a half kilos. And Mark is sitting on 620. So this lift will put Raymark on 27 and a half. I'll give him a 7 kilo lead. He needs this lift if he wants any chance of winning. Put grip. Grip with that right hand, just not got enough.
No lift
Didn't
unfortunately.
when I come.
No, it was just a bit off his centre and it was lifting there. And
255 on the bar now for Kier White. 255.
Finishes at 770 and a half. And we've got Mark Poole sitting on 620 at the moment, so Mark's comfortably coming into the last lift knowing that
He's
gonna
already-
done
Right,
enough.
three will be starting soon. Get yourselves ready.
His grip went on his last deadlift, so,
Bars loaded, let's go!
so hopefully he can pull this. But first of all, we've got Keir White coming up with 255 kilos. Keir's only weighing in at 76.8 kilos, so this is a massive lift for somebody at the lower end of the weight category. He's got a great technique, which is obviously benefiting him. Watch the hips and the bar move at the same time. Taps and bar movement at the same time. His body's quite upright, but it's just a bit too heavy.
Another today, unfortunately, to go lift.
You know deadlifts, you're really looking at the bar and your
265 for
move
Mark Fulton.
simultaneously. Any movement that hits
Last
first
lift for Group C
makes it a bit
before
more
Group
back
D.
and later in the lift, and it makes it more difficult. So he was a good exponent, good technique there. He gave himself the best possible chance of making that lift. Final deadlift of the day, we've got, or of this group anyway, we've got Mark Fulton.
Bars loaded, Mark. Let's go.
205 kilos. Come on then, Mark. This is for a Scottish record. Get that grip locked in this time. Strength's not a factor. I think he's got the luxury there, if I'm looking at the screen correctly, saying that he's already got the win. Come on then, Mark. Get the grip. Hang on to that bar and hold it. Just made it. I would have given him that, I think.
That's a no lift, unfortunately.
I'm
So
assuming
close.
that's because of his knees not locked out.
That concludes Group
Or it's
C.
not far enough back in the shoulder. I think the referees are gesturing.
Moving into Deadlift for
I think
Group
that he's
D.
probably not locked the shoulders out and leaned back because he felt the grip going.
Yeah.
120 on the bar. Start for Charlie
It looked
Payton.
like from here that he was
Charlie
started to
followed
lift
by
off
Danny,
with it
then
just in
Robert,
his fingers only.
then
Yeah.
Felix,
Didn't have his
William,
thumb
and
around the
Luke.
bar. So that's obviously the way he likes to deadlift, but as it gets heavier, it's difficult
120
to
on
hold
the bar.
And you could just see his left hand starting to open up as it was
Yeah.
starting to drop out at the top.
He's done enough to take it, but it's just a shame that maybe he didn't go less in settings, and he could have took that Scottish record.
Yes.
Okay, we're into the final group, the final lot of deadlifts. The first lifter up's Charlie Payton, who's coming in at 125 kilos.
Bars loaded for Charlie Payton, 120 kilo opener.
He's got his little wiggle for this as well. I think he sets his belt and then gives a
He
little
has,
wiggle.
aye.
Yep.
He's obviously feeling the vibe.
Works.
Well, good setup. Get yourself a good total. Yep, got that. He nearly let the bar go before it landed.
Good
Yep,
lift
lovely
there for
play.
Charlie. 205
Thank
kilos
Jim.
on the
Yeah,
bar
you-
now for Danny
Jim,
McWilliam.
you-
205.
Maybe hang on to the bar a bit longer.
Tiny bit too, maybe, yes.
I think he was fine, but he was nearly thrown on the floor. I think that's probably just the first competition. He's got a total in and he's quite happy with himself. Dean Robertson got the Hoover on the background there. He's had a row. Dean, do you think this is your own gym or something? Come on. He's just had a row there. He's got to do what he's told. Who have we got up next? Danny McWilliam.
Bar is loaded for Danny.
He's attempting 205 kilo. Right, so that's a comfortable opener.
Good lift there for Danny.
Easy lift.
240 now on the bar for Robert. 240 kilo opener.
We've got Robert Scobie up next on 240 kilos.
Bars loaded for Robert.
Come on, Robert. Take it away. Want to see everybody get a total in today. Nice. A long way to pull at that height.
Nice easy opener there for Robert. $247.5 now for Felix Ruiz.
Felix Ruiz.
Felix will be followed by William and then Lewis. 247.5. Bars loaded for Felix.
Kind of narrower sumo stance this time. It's maybe just changed the sumo and he's just working his feet out gradually.
It's almost a hybrid, a little bit in between.
Yeah. We'll see how his hips react at that width. Wee bit lift. See the difference between how we explained the first round with the guy.
Deadlift.
Hips and bar moved at the same time.
255 now on the bar for William Smith.
His hips came up first, meaning that he's technically probably not in the right position to start, but very strong anyway and pulled through.
It was very clean once it got off.
Yeah, yeah.
Bar is loaded.
William Smith next at 255 kilos. Nice opening weight. Another 93 kilo lifter.
Very smooth again.
Yeah.
Good lift. 275 for Lewis Kelly. Lewis will be followed by Charlie and then Danny.
Felix Ruiz and William Smith are only separated by 7.5 kilos at the moment. Felix on 555 and William on 662.5. So there's a 2-horse race. So we'll see some interesting lifts maybe on the last one.
Bars loaded for Lewis.
Lewis Smith. Currently have 3 105 lifters in. Lewis is quite a way ahead at the moment, so taking this deadlift will secure on it. Good lift.
Lovely and clean.
Everything new.
Lift is good.
So it's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Put into second attempt now. 130 please for Charlie Payton. Charlie will be followed by Danny, then Robert, then Felix.
Lewis is currently total 725, quite a way ahead of the other 2 lifters, so we could now go for it and maybe get a big deadlift. Charlie Payton's up next for his second lift at 130 kilos. Everybody's totaled today, so that's good.
That's excellent.
Bars loaded. Let's go, Charlie.
Charlie's getting himself psyched up. Do we have a lead dance this time? Good grip. Quite wide. Easy lift by the looks of it. No problem. Good lift.
Lift is
Right,
good.
Good solid first competition, I would say.
Definitely. Right hand was slightly wider than the left.
215 for Danny
Yeah.
McWilliam. 215.
We've got Danny McWilliam next, attempting 215 kilos.
Bars loaded for Danny.
Solid.
Yeah.
Quite easy.
Lift is good. 245 now for Robert.
Big shout out to the loaders and spotters again. They've put a shift in today. The bar gets a brush after every lift on the third round. During any other time, it's kind of at the referee or loader's discretion.
Bars loaded.
But a lifter can't request the bar cleaned at any time before they come up.
Okay.
If you feel that you're the last lifter in a group and it's covered in chalk,
Yeah.
before it gets to the end, you can request it to be cleaned and they will do it. A good lift for Robert.
Lift is good.
5 kilos.
260 kilos now for Felix Ruiz.
60 kilos for Felix Ruiz. The second one. Felix is
Bar is
92
loaded for
kilos.
Felix.
He's currently 7.5 kilos behind William Smith. And he's taken a jump of 12.5 here. So this would put him up 5 kilos ahead.
Let's go, Felix.
A narrow hand placement as well.
Actually puts his feet in his hand the same place where I do, and I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's probably got scope to go a wee bit wider. It looks strong, no?
Yeah, doesn't seem to need it.
He likes that one.
Clearly plays.
Lift is
Yeah.
good.
Happy with that? And so he should be. Good left.
Yeah.
260 stays on the bar for William Smith.
So that takes Felix. That takes Felix into a 5 kilo
Bar
lead.
is loaded.
And that could be very short lived. Because this is a 5 kilo increase, which will tie them. And Felix is half a kilo light on body weight, so even if William takes this lift,
Might not get it
although
on
he'll
point.
tie, he'll be behind on body weight.
Yeah.
I think I'd give him that.
Lift
Yeah.
is good. 2 to 1.
The centre referee might maybe went a wee bit down.
287.5 for
I
Lewis
think it was
Kelly.
going set on the bar as opposed to a
It was
287.5.
right at the very top. There was a little kind of
Yeah.
lock in almost,
Yeah.
where it did create a
Yeah.
little movement.
I mean, there is what they call settle on the bar, where you'll have that slight movement as you walk
After
out.
Lewis,
I think
it will
it was
be
more that
Charlie
than a
and
downward
then
movement.
Danny.
But you got it, so well done. And that makes it all to play for on the final deadlift. He needs to pull more than Felix on the last lift.
And now you can change your final deadlift, can't you? Up
Can't,
until
yeah.
you
He
lift
could,
it pretty
you
much.
could basically see
Bars loaded for
the
Lewis.
first person's lifted and then change your next to foot. It's got to be, the change has got to be in before the bar's loaded.
Yes.
This is Lewis attempting 287.5 kilo. £12.5 kilo jump on his last. Oh. That's a good one.
Lift is good.
Very good one. Very good one.
Bring it to
Working
final
hard, scoring lines
deadlifts
that
for the
everyone's winning a
day.
winner.
145 on pace for Charlie Payton. Charlie followed by Danny, then Robert, then Felix.
That's it. Moving into the last round of deadlifts for the day.
Last deadlifts of the day. Bars slowly, Charlie. Let's go.
Bars loaded for Charlie. Last lift of the day. See that this is looking like 999 for Charlie. I think.
Ah, he's doing well. That's what you want in a comp, isn't it?
Yeah. It's safe to say it looks like he's enjoying the first comp. When he'll be back, I'm sure. Can't see that hand place. The right hand is wider.
There's a little bit.
Charlie, up you go. Pull it through. Pull it through. Walk out. I could almost. I could almost see Jim Meekby sitting in his chair, leaning back like he was trying to walk out for.
250.5 for Danny McWilliam.
We've got the spot loaders getting involved, giving him some
That's
nice,
it.
helping him out.
That wee bit of support to the side could just be that wee edge just to finish a lift.
And when you haven't got the crowd shouting in an event like
Right.
this, it's really nice to have that kind
Yeah,
of feel.
and everything you could get. Bar getting clean between every lift now. That's the third attempt.
Bars loaded, Danny. Let's go.
And his final lift, 232.5 kilos. So a total of 557.5 at the moment. And about 17.5 kilo drop. This is
Good
great
lift.
lift.
3 weights.
That's a great lift.
250.
That's put him up to
250 on the bar
575.
for Robert.
Robert Stobie next.
He'll be followed by Felix, then William, then Lewis. Bar is loaded.
Come on then, Robert. Big effort. Off the floor easy. Have you got the walkout? Or is the rest of it in the stars? What will the referees make of that?
That's a good lift.
Good
2 to
lift,
1.
2 to 1, yeah.
One, I think, maybe.
265 for Felix Ruiz.
He's been tackling.
265.
I think Jim red light. I'm not going to tell you what finger gesture Jim Mutra gave me there.
I don't know. Let's have a look. Can you see? Oh, you can see on the
Oh,
on the live
in
stream.
fact, you can see it for yourself because he's right in camera shot there.
Bars loaded for Felix. Let's go.
Can he take him in there? Oh, here's Felix out. Now, this is a lift that could be the difference to them taking the title. He's already ahead in body weight currently at the moment. This would put him 5 clear, which would mean that William would need to pick up 7.5 more. I think William's last lift was quite tight, so this could be the difference. Good, 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 good. Got to walk out and hold it. Good. I think he was going to stand
This
there all
is
day.
good.
He was making sure that was a good lift.
267.5 now for William Smith. 267.5. Only 2 pulls left today.
So William Smith's went the extra kilos that he needs to take it. So he's currently 5 kilos behind, and he's jumped up 7.5. So this lift will see him take the win.
Bar is loaded. Good pull. Let's go.
One left. This is to move 2.5 kilos ahead of Felix. Strong pull and stick with it. Put the lift out. Not getting past the knees. He's lift. I think he went downward movement at the knees. He did.
Oh, 2 to 1.
Very
So
unlucky.
close. So close.
That downward movement as he got to the knees, he had to reset his position.
295.
Probably leaning forward too much.
295
And
for
that was just
Lewis
enough
Kelly.
for lights. That was unlucky. It was very close. And we're now on to the last deadlift of the day. Lewis Kelly on 295.
Last deadlift
Come on, Lewis,
of the
295.
competition today.
Come on, put it to 300. Come on, for the
Or
crowd.
maybe he's just being sensible.
Do a change, put 300 on the bar. Come on. What's the point of putting 295 on? Bar's getting a good clean. Come on, last lift of the day, Lewis. Let's get it. Let's finish the bit of stuff.
Let's go, Lewis. Bars loaded.
The technique's been really good so far.
Yep.
Pain's the same. Sit into the left and one continuous movement. Up the floor.
Lift is good.
Great lift. That was a typical exponent of a female deadlift. It's really difficult from the floor, but you must stick with it. And once you move it, if you're in
That
the right
concludes
position, it'll work
today's
out.
session. Can I ask everyone
Well,
to try
thanks
and tidy
everybody
up
for
the warm-up
tuning in
area as
and
best as
listening
you
and
can?
watching. It's
There's
been a
been
pleasure
4 rounds.
commentating on
Give
a
us a hand getting
competition.
tidied up. Thank you very much.
Since it's been so long since we've done it. Hopefully this will be the start every time, and very much Sam for joining me,
No worries.
and we'll see you all again. Thank you. Bye.